Welcome to my vlog. Today we are going to talk about faith, not just for moving mountains, but to create them. The Reverend G. Val Owen wrote a series of 4 books in the early 1900s. Unbeknownst to many at the time, he added to the revelations about Spiritism, which commenced in the 1850s by Allan Kardec. In the compilation of 4 books, The Life Beyond the Veil, more of the fantastic world that we shall, as spirits, return to was presented to us. One of the most startling aspects of the book is the role of faith, not faith as we know it, but faith as a real power, the ability to conjure, far beyond any of our earthly fantasies. What was presented by Spiritism? Spiritism burst upon the world in the 1850s. In a series of questions posed to spirits by Allan Kardec, answers that came from multiple mediums throughout Europe, for Allan Kardec wouldn't use just one response, but ensured the communications were verified by multiple sources, he codified the doctrine of Spiritism. Spiritism is the promised third revelation by Christ in the New Testament. We are told that we must pass through multiple lives in a quest to become more loving, charitable, fraternal, and honest souls, that we live in a world which is tailored as a campus for us to learn the qualities that we are required to attain before we are allowed to ascend in the spiritual hierarchy. In essence, we should follow the golden rule, do unto others as you would do unto them in all things. The outward trappings of churches, rituals, rote prayers, dietary restrictions, were all superfluous. All that is necessary is goodness of heart. Needless to say, this provoked an immense backlash from organized religion. The Catholic Church organized book burnings of Allan Kardec's The Spirit's Book. Since that time, there has been more information presented to us, most spectacularly via the mediumship of Francisco Chico C. Xavier, who psychographed more than 450 books. All dictated to him by spirits, angels and other high spirits, all with a mission to inform humans on our planet the correct modes of behavior. Within all of the spiritist literature I have read to date, I have not seen one mention of any bigoted ideas. We are told that spirits may incarnate as men or women in different races, in different cultures. Therefore, we should be kind and understanding to all. That marriage is between 2 spirits, not just a male and female. The length of time they are together is up to them, and them alone. Despite the resistance by organized religion, the Supreme Intelligence pushed on and continued to send us information about our future life as spirits, so that we may learn what is coming and why we are here in our frail physical bodies. We seem so weak and vulnerable. Any adverse chain of events could wipe us off the planet at any time. But we must realize that our perceived weakness is part of the plan to prepare us. Actually, we are immortal souls unable to die. Only our temporary body has a composition to degrade. Our spirit is indestructible. We are here on this terra firma campus to mold our minds to be as perfect as our spirit bodies. We are deliberately placed on a sphere with 1,000 distractions so that we may educate our minds to ignore and filter out destructive thoughts, so that we eventually acquire the ability to focus our concentration in any situation. Our first step is to find our way towards faith. With faith, we keep our attention on a bigger theme, a target superior to our daily worries and anxieties. Faith allows us to build a shield against destructive feelings. Conviction in a higher purpose acts as a ruby does to concentrate light from one of the first lasers. Faith. What is faith? Jesus tells us in Matthew, verse 17 to 20. Truly I tell you, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say this to the mountain, move from here to there, and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you. Haven't we all tried to move objects with our minds? A pencil or a feather? Maybe we cheat and blow air to move it. Invariably, our experiments result in abject failure. We find out that we can't move anything with our minds. So what the heck was Jesus talking about? Jesus was foreshadowing our future, not on earth, but as a spirit. Not a low, but a high-educated, pure spirit. Power of the spirit world. I first encountered the immense capabilities of the spirituality when I read the book On the Way to the Light, psychographed by Francisco C. Xavier, dictated to him by his spirit mentor, Emmanuel. The book is a survey of how the spirit realm has guided our planet from its formation. In the book, Emmanuel tells us that a community of pure spirits govern our part of the universe. We are told that high spirits, of which Christ was a participant, created our solar system and placed the planets in orbit. Emmanuel also recounted how our moon was created. In that computation of cosmic values, in which workers from the spirit plane labored under the merciful guidance of the Christ, the formation of Earth's satellite was ordered. The innermost details of the work plan to be carried out on the Earth would require the help of the moon. The moon would be the anchor for the Earth's equilibrium as it orbited around the seat of the system, and it would be the fountainhead of regulating forces for the planet's stability. Most of all, the newborn orb would need the moon's polarized light, whose gentle magnetism would play a decisive role in the ongoing drama of the creation and reproduction of all species in the various kingdoms of nature. At first glance, the passage seemed to mean that extremely high-level spirits actually assisted in the building of the moon, and somehow they pushed the moon into the correct orbit around the Earth. Exactly how this marvel of engineering was accomplished, I had no idea. Subsequently, as I read more books which revealed the capabilities of high spirits, I began to see how the mind of a spirit, coupled with the twin attributes of faith and knowledge, could achieve what we on earth would consider to be miracles. Spiritism explains to us there are no such thing as miracles, only phenomena which we can't explain, but are self-evident to the wiser spirits. Teleportation. One example of the possibility of the manipulation of matter comes from a passage I read in the book In the Realms of Mediumship, psychographed by Francisco C. Xavier. There is a discussion of transporting matter created in the physical plane via spirits. During a medium's meeting, spirits in attendance took flowers made from ectoplasmic material and carried them through walls in our plane. Andre Louis asks how this could be possible. He is informed by what I think is a very revealing answer. There are technicians here who are skilled enough to dematerialize the physical elements and reconstruct them straight away, conscious of the responsibility they're undertaking. Hence, advanced spirits are able to take objects native to our sphere, the physical world, and dematerialize them enough to pass through what we would consider to be a solid formation, then almost instantly reform the object. Next, as a peak of the scientific advances that will come, Andre Louis is told, in any construction of the physical realm, the clusters of atoms are not solid fortresses, just as is the case in our own sphere of action. There is empty space in all formations, and through it the elements interpenetrate. The day will come when earthly science will be able to reintegrate the units and constitutions of atoms with the same assurance with which they are learning to disintegrate them. Hence, a spirit via the powers of their mind, along with an understanding of the divine laws, is able to deconstruct a solid object and remake it at their will, a process that in some future date we shall be able to reproduce with complex instruments, while learned spirits can accomplish the same feat with their will. Creation. More was revealed about the art of creation when I started reading the Reverend G. Alwyn's book, The Life Beyond the Veil. In Book 2, The Highlands of Heaven, about a spirit who resides in the 10th level of heaven, named Zabdiel, the 10th level implies the sequence of stages above the earth. Each planet has their own circles of hierarchy, which span outward from each distinctive sphere. Zabdiel, who is a high spirit, has the power to control the basic building blocks of the universe, known in Spiritism as universal fluid, and create not just an object, but life out of nothing, fully formed and functioning. Only in our fantasy literature would such a scene occur. It was then I understood that as a spirit progresses, their ability to guide the divine forces increases until they possess, in our estimation, to be godlike powers to not only move mountains, but to construct entire ranges by focusing their will. Zabdiel explains faith as it is defined in the other world. According to your faith be it unto you. This stands a promise of power today as when first he said it, and it may be claimed with full assurance of fulfillment, only that faith must be present, and then the present enablement will be manifest, in ways diverse, but with no uncertainty of cause and effect. Now, this is not alone to you, but to us here in these spheres progress and progressive. It is the acquiring of faith in exercise that we study to compass, and, that gotten, we are powerful to help others and ourselves to enjoy, for it is delight and pleasure to give, more than to receive, as he said. Faith is the keystone, but it must be surrounded by all of the attributes of the Golden Rule: love, charity, fraternity, forgiveness, and honesty. Without the supporting foundation, faith is not sufficient to unlock the potential within each of us to materialize our desires, since our intentions must be pure and void of any selfishness before we are granted such command. Zabdiel tells us the difference between faith in our plane and faith in the spirit dimension. But do not mistake the nature of faith in the using of it. In the earth life, it is of indefinite quality as mostly understood, something between trustfulness and a right understanding of what is truth. But here, where we study all things as to their essence, we know faith is more than this. It is power capable of scientific analysis, in a measure in correspondence with the progress made by any man. The circle is complete when we learn to practice total control over our emotions while in the physical world, and apply our loving will in a professional manner in the spirit realm. Only then, after a multitude of lives, painfully mastering our character and attitudes, can we graduate to a position of responsibility to be entrusted with such might. When we were children, we would dream of having overwhelming power to perform great events. Those dreams of conjuring something out of nothing are visions of a distant future. We should not let go of our childhood aspirations. We ought to mold them into a strength of purpose to fashion our deepest intentions into an energy for good. If you would like to learn more about spirits, how we grow, how we ascend, what are our powers as a spirit, read my book, Book 2, Spirits and the Spirit's Universe. God bless.